what's interesting about this is that if you know about collusion balls, if you take one ball, the other ball will go out. If you take two balls, the other ball will go out. If you take two balls out together and you hit together, at some point, they will repel off each other. Reciprocity is like that. If you give something and you allow the other person to give something back to you, it's nice dance, it's a nice swing, right? If you give something and you expect something that you're going to have resistance from the other person, sure as hell, excuse my language, that's going to happen. And in Asia, the resistance that you're going to receive is that they will actually agree with you. And that's the worst resistance ever. Because you will never know what exactly is in their minds. And you'll never know why, at the end of the program, it doesn't work. Right? In Singapore, we have this saying that, what was the saying? I respect you, so I'm nice to you. But sometimes, niceness becomes lies. So when I'm nice, I do lie. Right? And it's true, and it's very telling when senior managers are open. And I'm saying this because we have done work with this organization. They're open, they're like, I'm here, I thought it was a great conversation with the whole team. Everyone was saying, yes, we should do this, and we should do that, and everything else. And then 6 months later, I don't know what's going on. Because everyone seems to be agreeing, but what's going on with that? So, reciprocity is about giving something and making sure that you stand there long enough for them to give them something back to you. Which means that if you are an international mobile, if you are an expat, you probably have to say something along the lines of, I might know research and statistics and I've done a lot of work globally, but what I want to learn from you is the experience, the wisdom of your organization, the experience and wisdom of your culture, because all I know is what I read from books, and I know that's not it's not the same as what you can tell me. So then you stop there and you let them feed you with answers, right? So that's reciprocity. Relevance. So relevance is really around the personal alignment with the organizational alignment, the alignment of the project with the alignment of where each individual sees themselves. It's about the values, and it's also about, what did I say over here? Medium of communication. So in Asia, normally we're very formal with our emails. We will say, dear something, regards someone, right? When I have emails from, I wouldn't say the country, and they just say, Elfrina, please do this, 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 and this. And I thought, hold on a second, where's the hi? And where's the dear? They do something wrong. But actually, they've mentioned Elfrina, comma. What we want to do right now is this. Now, as an Asian, because of the non-salutation, it feels very brash. So, be aware whether or not what you're doing is relevant to who you're speaking to. It's not enough to say, I'm sorry, but I don't know, in our culture we do this. There's Google it up, right? Okay, so the next part, so this is the alignment part, right? Reward. This is interesting. I love this part. Okay, so in the Western world, like I said, you get a lot of respect from research, statistics, and authorship, if you're author of something. Yeah. So when you get an award, it's easy for you to say, and it's easy for people to actually acknowledge that award with you. In Asia, sometimes when you get an award, you put them in a cupboard quite far behind because it's embarrassing to actually tell people how well you've done. Because then they'll be like, oh, but then does it mean that I have to acknowledge my whole team? Does it mean I have to thank my boss? Does it mean that I have to? So that's all of this funny, interesting conversation that goes on in the head, because it's about consensus building, remember? It's a little bit about where are you in your society, where and how does this new reward and status actually bring you there. What's interesting about Asia, though, that you need to know is when you are in a project, individuals in that project needs to know what is their rewards and recognition system. What I mean by that is this. For everyone, there is a different need for different reward and recognition. It's not good enough to say that we will be giving based on the global engagement survey, we will be giving a $100 reward for certain things. What's important for you to say is this: if we get this project done, chances are our bonus is going to be this. Now, if that's not going to happen, your promotion ladder is going to be this. Most of the time, people get rewarded by money. China is true. Singapore is true. I'm not sure about India, and that's what I need to find out from you. Oh, it rhymes! Sorry. Well, how about India? Is money very... It is. Even if you do not actually agree, or even if you don't outrightly say that, in Asia, reward them with money as much as you can, because it works. It works because I'll tell you why. Because in Asia, in terms of the values, it's not just about self-values. When I teach coactive coaching, and we talk about values, I've got such a huge resistance, and they say, our value is about duty. It's about duty to our family, duty to my children, duty to my parents, duty to the society, the extended society, whether or not it's churches or religion or whatever it might be. And it is very, very heavy. So that's why they like money, because it means that that a part of them feels like it's something which they can keep, that they don't need to show. I might be wrong, and I'll be happy to hear what it means for you and your culture. But that's what I know very true for most of the Southeast Asian countries. And also because most of the Southeast Asian countries are developing, so money is a great reward for them. Right, so that's where the strategy is. So you need to tell them at which level are the reward system going to be. Now, responsibility. In the West, responsibility is about leading at the front. It's about you at the front, and you say, hello, this is where we are, this is the vision that we want to see for the organization. These are the values, and this is where we should be, and da-da-da-da-da. Now, in Asia, responsibility is about how can I, as a leader, support you. It's very hard for them to say that this is where we have to go, because you'll know why. The thing is this: if they are too authoritative, then it's probably because that they are maybe the founders of the company. Otherwise, they are so consensus building that they always be wondering, we should check in with that expat boss, what they think about it. We should check in with our team members, what they think about it. Does this fit in that sense? So in terms of responsibility, in Asia, it really is about leading from behind. And that's the marked difference. Leading from behind is great because it's about collective leadership, and it's about the sense of reciprocity. It's a sense of unity and union and family, which is huge value in Asia, wherever you go. I'm not saying that this is not true for the West, but I'm sort of giving it a lot of extremes in this case just to prove a point, so I hope you bear with me. So that's where responsibility is in terms of the action. So as you see lots of suits walking around in the world, and you're wondering whether or not cultural competency is important and how do I actually apply it, there is this thing around, I'll just share this with you, leading from the front, leading from the back, and leading from within. And in intercultural competency, you sort of need to go through all of this. You need to know how to lead from the front and be able to set the stage, set the environment, build that relationship, know how to reciprocate, and then you also need to know how to lead from the back. How do I motivate my people in order to bring up all of the reward system, in order to tell them the strategy that works best for my people, and then let them go with it, right? And how can I be responsible supporting all of them from the back? Leading from within is because in Asia, wisdom counts. Because in Asia, we still have this whole idea around the guru and the person who is listening. So we really place a lot of value when there is an assumed leader, which means that if I'm termed as a manager and you're talking to an executive, no matter what it is, the executive will still see you as someone who is of a higher status than you are. They can be great friends after that, but this status is always available and it's always going to get in the way. So that's why leading from within is really important. So your key to cultural competency, remember when I started off, I said, as the more you go global and the more you need to know about cultural competency globally, the more you need to be prescribing it locally. So what's interesting here is this. When you actually face an issue whereby you have to go through some sort of a cultural understanding, Well, I'm trying to make it simplistic, right? Because it's obviously not as simple as this is. But the main idea is this, at least for today's conference. Turn toward the issue. If there is a problem within your organization, if there is a problem about you as a coach not trying to really understand behind the cultural context of your client, you have to sort of articulate what's going on. Be curious about it. Be curious and find out what's going on. What do I need to know about you and your culture? What do I need to know about your culture in a way that I do not collude with it? Because you know, it's so easy. It's so easy. My clients will tell me, and I coach clients globally as well. You know, in Japan, the culture is such that it's very hard for a lady to actually lead. And then I ask her, so what are you? I'm a director of a sporting goods company. All right. And so if you don't lead, who will? She can't answer. So by the very fact that you are a director of that particular group means you have to lead. So what's this thing about culture? I don't buy that. And I'm talking to a Japanese lady. And even so, that's very rude, right? So yeah, be curious, because the line that you can't cross is make sure that when you are curious and you turn toward the issue, you are not colluding with the client or not colluding with the organization. So in a little way, you have to be that risk taker to try and cross the line and see whether or not you have to go back to see whether the line that you have crossed is way beyond what you should be doing. So, listen to appreciate. Now, Marsha mentioned something about listening, right, and how you actually listen. When we listen to appreciate, that's when your relationship increases. Because you're not there to listen to understand. You know, as a coach, listen for fact-finding is the worst thing ever, because you're just curious and it doesn't really give a lot to the coaching session. It just means that the client is just going on and on and on about the problem. Sometimes it works, most times it doesn't. Same thing with organizations and in workshops and training and facilitation. The more you delve on listening to understand, the thing is, unless you can give a prescriptive solution that you think would work and it will work, listening to appreciate is about finding that 2% truth. So what it means is this.